Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to Drakiith and Ice Apple 23. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder Kingmaker. Well, the Stag Lord is dead, so at this point, all we've got left to do is a little bit of bookkeeping and some general cleanup before we can report back to Lady Jamandi and claim our kingdom. I've actually been dreading this episode for a while now because there's a lot of narrative and world building between Act 1 and 2, so this episode's mostly just going to be us talking to people. That said, we do actually have a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive right in. First up, Silverleaf is taking another level in Alchemist, which gives him an extra die of damage for his bombs, and his first rank of poison resistance. His skill points go in the usual places, nothing new there. Then he gets a new feat, which is a no-brainer. We'll finally pick up ability-focused bombs. That'll make them a little more effective. As for his new spell, he's actually got a lot of good options, but I thought we'd go with Barkskin. It's a pretty solid defensive buff. And that's it for Silverleaf. Next we've got Valerie, who's also pretty straightforward. She's still got a ways to go before she qualifies for Stalwart Defender, so we'll just stay focused on Fighter for now. That actually gets her Tower Shield Specialist, which effectively grants her a +2 bonus to accuracy. She only gets 2 skill points, so we'll drop those into Persuasion and Nature Lore. And we'll pick up Weapon Specialist as her new feat, which is a pretty straightforward damage boost. I do actually want to pick up feats like Cornigan Smash, Dazzling Display, and eventually Dreadful Carnage, but that'll have to wait until we've gained a few more levels. Next we've got Amiri, who, of course, will stick with being a barbarian. That actually gets her improved Uncanny Dodge, which essentially makes her immune to flanking. That's a pretty huge boost to her defense. She gets 4 skill points, so we'll take this opportunity to shore up her hunting skills. As for her new feat, we'll ignore the feats that they're recommending and go straight for Cleave instead. That's useful on its own, but it's also a prereq for several of the feats we'd like in the future. Then there's Harem. He's hands down the simplest of our level ups. We'll put his skill points in Lore, Religion, and Perception. As for his feat, I'll admit, I'm a bit uncertain about this one. Personally, I'm leaning towards a heavy armor focus to shore up his durability in combat. Then again, I've also got my eye on some metamagic feats, like Extend Spell, or maybe just Martial Weapon Proficiency. Be sure to let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Then we've got Lindsay, who will continue on the path of the roguelike bard. That actually gets her her second rank in Inspire Courage, which effectively doubles the potency of her song. She gets 5 skill points, so we'll put those into her usual assortment of thief skills, with the final floating point going into Use Magic Devices. She gets a new feat, so we'll go ahead and grab Precise Shot, which will drastically improve her accuracy when she's firing into melee. And that brings us to our new spell, which is actually another choice I'm not entirely sure about. She's actually got a lot of good options here, but we've kind of been leaning her towards enchantment, so I'll probably go with Hold Person. Still, I am open to suggestion. As always, be sure to let me know what you guys think. And that finally brings us to Tristan, who will continue on the path to the Mystic Theurge. Which, of course, means a second level of Sorcerer. He doesn't actually get much this level, but that's fine. We've already got his Arcana where it needs to be, so we'll focus on other things instead. I might have to revisit that, but let's move on for now. He's not actually ready for meta magic just yet, so we'll go with greater elemental focus instead. He doesn't actually have a lot of fire spells just yet, but that'll definitely be changing once we get him a few more levels. That's it for level up, so let's have a look at our gear. First up, we've got Silverleaf, who's our only dedicated bow user, so this was a pretty easy choice. We gave him the Stag Lord's Lesser Bracers of Archery and the Savage Bow, which grants him a combined total of +2 to accuracy and +1 to damage. Not bad. We didn't really find much for Valerie, so I just ended up giving her the Knight's helmet that Amiri was wearing. And Amiri got the Stag Lord's helmet and the Cloak of Winter Veil. Nothing for Harem. And Lindsay. Lindsay was a problem. I was actually hoping to give her Amiri's old Cloak of Resistance, or the Stag Lord's Woodland's Aegis, but in both cases it would have actually pushed her into medium encumbrance. That imposes some significant penalties to defense and thieving skills, so it just wasn't worth the trade-off. We'll just give her the Boots of Elven Kind for now, but we will be able to boost her carrying capacity in the future. As for Tristan, he didn't end up getting much, but I did toss him that Belt of Mighty Constitution we got from Ox. That'll pad out his hit points and make him a little tougher on the battlefield, but more importantly, it'll also help him last a little longer on the world map, which will help us travel a little more efficiently. Anyway, that catches us up with most of the bookkeeping, but we've still got one more thing we need to do before we head back towards Oleg's. Back when we defeated Nugra, we discovered that he was keeping an empty chest in his cell, and I didn't think much of it at the time. Of course, 2 of my viewers reminded me that Nugra has a history of hiding things in empty chests, so let's try the same herb trick we used back at the abandoned hut. Well, would you look at that? Looks like that got us a Wand of Cat's Grace, a Scroll of Stone Skin, a Scroll of Freedom of Movement, and another book about transmutation, which will be important for a future quest. Not bad. Not bad at all. Let's immediately add that Stone Skin spell to Silverleaf's spellbook. He won't be able to cast it for a while, but it will be pretty useful once we're headed into Act 3 or so. I think we'll also give Lindsay that Wand of Cat's Grace. It's only got 16 charges, but Cat's Grace is a pretty potent buff. She's been toting around this Wand of Magic Missile for a while, but her Arcane Signet completely outclasses it. I think we can live without it. Okay, I think that's it. Let's take a quick break so I can set our new spells, clean up our inventory, and rearrange our taskbars. I think we'll also set up camp so we can finally get rid of these curses on Lindsay and Tristan. We'll be right back. Okay, we're fully rested, freshly uncursed, and I think we're just about ready to head back to the trading post. We do have one stop we have to make on the way there, but we'll try to make it quick. There's another kingdom resource. We'll just worry about that later. For now, let's set course for Nettles Crossing. Oh. Riverine Rise. A prominent landmark, Riverine Rise can be seen from afar. A riverbank swelled here, forming a quaint, picturesque hill. Well, we're already past the bridge, so we'll just worry about that later too.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
Okay, let's get some rest and then we can give Davik the good news. Actually, let's head inside first. That way we can hopefully trigger some party banter.
I tire. All according to plan.
Stag Lord is dead. Pharasma awaits. Farewell, Silverleaf. Rest in peace, Davik. You freed an innocent soul from eternal torment, Silverleaf. Yours is truly a noble soul. Tristan lowers his head and begins whispering a prayer. The corpse crumples to the ground. And that is the final loose end we have for Act 1.
In due time.
Let's give Davik's house a quick sweep and then we'll set up camp. I know we've checked it before, but every time you go up a level, it resets every perception check you've previously failed. You never know when you might find something you missed. Alright, heroes. Get some rest.
You fight good, but you're boring. A block, a lunge, all with a shield in your hand. Where's the fun in that? Just imagine, hit one in the ear, the other in the jaw, and punch the third one so hard he sees above the clouds.
If it weren't for my shield, the whole party would spend all we have on healing potions. You like cracking skulls, and I'm perfectly content with that. But you'd better let me watch your back. It'll be a lot safer for you.
Okay, next stop, Oleg's trading post. Sure, why not? Now let's see here. Looks like we've got a single bandit.
No mistakes.
There might be more bandits behind her, but I think we can handle this.
What for Gorum?
Oh, and there's one bandit behind us. Alright everyone, swap places. Well, that's 36 XP and some minor loot. Not bad for 30 seconds worth of work. Oh, it looks like we might actually have room for everything. Yeah, okay, we'll take it all.
My strength fades.
Come on, guys.
That is not far.
Valerie catches up with you near the trading post and touches you on the shoulder. Silverleaf, can I talk to you? Now that the Stag Lord is defeated, you rightfully own the stolen lands. Jamandi Aldori will endorse you and grant you the Baron's title. The girl looks at you with interest and a little apprehension. What will you do when you sit on the throne, Silverleaf? Please don't say you haven't thought about it. Good question. There's enough work to do in the stolen lands. Running off bandits, founding a state, protecting the common people. Valerie nods, pleased. To be honest, I didn't expect any other answer from you. You're a noble person, Silverleaf, and I'm glad I can serve the good of your state. Well, thank you, Valerie. I'm pretty sure that's the first step towards her romance path, but I'm not ready to lock that in just yet. Good news, Oleg. The Stag Lord's gone. We found his fortress and sent the villain to oblivion. Oleg looks at you with respect bordering on admiration. And good riddance. Maybe now we'll be able to actually live in the stolen lands, rather than just surviving. Oleg sighs. Without a doubt, more people will flock here now. It'll surely boost trade, but all the noise they'll bring with them. Well, that's none of your concern. I bet you can't wait to return to Restov and report your great victory. I still have some unfinished business here. As you wish. Alright guys, we actually need to sell off all the loot in our inventory, and we've still got a giant stack of weapons and armor waiting for us back at the Stag Lord's fort, so let's hit the pause button again, and we'll be back in just a moment. And we're back. We'll be heading to Restov in just a moment, but first, I thought we'd catch up with Svetlana and her sister here, just to get their take on the Stag Lord's demise. The Stag Lord is defeated, Svetlana. Soon, everything will change around here. Svetlana sighs. It seems like I've completely forgotten how to hope for the better, but my heart already belongs to these wild lands. Perhaps in time they'll grow into a peaceful and prosperous country. Thank you, Svetlana. Very uplifting.
Hi there, stranger. I'm Irina, Svetlana's sister. I just arrived recently.
Kressel greets you with a grin. Irina, why the masquerade?
It's just, I want to start a new life, to forget everything from before, even my old name.
The former bandit shrugs and looks down. I see you're settling in just fine.
I won't be here long, just enough to help Svetlana with her work around the post. I owe her that much. Then I'll be on my way. Still haven't decided where to go, though.
What happened to the rest of the Stag Lord's gang?
Right after battle in the Stag Lord's fortress, Akiros just dissolved, like morning fog. I heard him mumble something about repaying old debts as he left. He's no fool. I'd guess he won't show his face in the stolen lands again. Too many people recognize him for being the Stag Lord's right hand. the remnants of the gang all scattered. I'd wager someone's already announced himself as the new Stag Lord and got a knife in the liver from some other wannabe heir.
Yeah, I'm sure we haven't heard the last of the Stag Lord. Or, a Stag Lord, anyway. Anyway, thanks, Cecil. Okay, we're caught up with the NPCs, we've cleared out all the locations, and, I think we're just about ready to head to Restove. Fair warning, though, we are about to head into a solid 30 minutes worth of plot and world building, so, brace yourselves. I'd actually skip this stuff, but most of it's important to the story. Restove awaits. I plan to set off right away. The fog seems to be thinning, but we should wait until it burns off completely. In the meantime, I'll gather some supplies for your journey to make sure you can enjoy your trip back to Restove. And here we go.
Good work. Nice to see I haven't lost my intuition for people. Not many would have managed to set out to the Stolen Lands and return with the Stag Lord's head, but I knew you could handle it. Congratulations are in order. Today, you'll receive the title of Baron before the High Society of Restov, and even Natala Sertova personally. God's bless her. Tomorrow, you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands if you wish, but this time as a ruler. But matters of state can wait. For now, enjoy this feast in your honor. All the city leaders are here. It's a great opportunity to make some useful connections. Speaking of connections, let me introduce you to Cecil Aldori. He's my adopted son and apprentice. He's a trustworthy man. I'd like to send him with you as an envoy.
Cecil, a young half-orc with impeccable poise, performs a textbook-perfect bow. Jamandi, just what kind of game are you playing? I think I have a right to know.
Yes, you certainly have that right. But tell me, how well do you know Brevoy's history or the current political atmosphere? It won't be an easy explanation.
What do I need to know about the history of Brevoy?
What's now called Brevoy was originally two different countries, Rostland and Issia. 200 years ago, they were stuck in constant squabbles. Then, Corel the Conqueror showed up and united the two states into one. Such diplomatic tricks are easy to manage when you have dragons at your disposal. The so-called noble houses of Brevoy, mainly Sertova, Orlovsky, and Lebeda, once ruled over Issia. We, the Aldori, ruled Rostland. The royal house Rogarvia, founded by Corel the Conqueror, forced us into obedience. But 200 years isn't long enough to make peace with such a troubled history. Even 2,000 years wouldn't be enough for us to accept Issian rule. Brevoy is a country held together by a thread, and that thread grows ever weaker.
What do I need to know about the current political atmosphere?
We, the Aldori and the great noble houses, spent 200 years under the rule of invaders, the royal house Rogarvia. We plotted, we schemed, we stabbed each other in the back, but open confrontation was out of the question. But a few years ago, House Rogarvia disappeared. No one knows how or why, but one day, their manors were just empty, and the force that held Brevoy together, that kept us from a bloody feud, ceased to be. Brevoy is currently ruled by the House Sertova, the former kings of Issia, but their power pales in comparison to that of House Rogarvia when they were here. So now Sertova and Aldori stand facing each other, staring each other in the eye, waiting for the other to draw their sword. It's an untenable situation. No one wants a civil war that would drown Brevoy in blood, but peace between us is also out of the question.
What role do I play in your plans?
Rostland wants to regain its independence, and we will regain it. The power the Isians hold over us is humiliating and costly, and the Sertovas won't give us our freedom without a fight. That is, unless there is some external power that can force everyone to sit down and talk. Do you see where this is going? The stolen lands are disputed territory. Brevoy can't appropriate them without raising protests from each of the neighboring states. However, if some brave people were to found independent states on that land, it would be another matter entirely. My hope is that you and your future neighbors, Baron Hannes Drelev and Captain Mager Varn, will become our allies. But even your neutrality would introduce a powerful counterbalance to the aggression of the noble houses. Maybe, with your help, the inevitable division of Brevoy can occur without too much pain.
Don't the Sword Lords have any other foreign allies that are capable of playing this role?
We hope to get some help from the Maivani Aldori, the descendants of the Sword Lords who have fled from Coral's rage to build a new nation in the south. But the Isians know this well, and are doing everything they can to deny us this help. I won't go into details, but if my intelligence is correct, if a civil war starts in Brevoy, Maivan will be too occupied with its own inner troubles to interfere.
What part does Restov play in this game?
Restov is a free city, proud of its independence from everyone, including the Aldori Sword Lords. But when it comes to Rostland's liberation, our goals align. This whole plan is our joint creation with Lord Mayor Yosef Selimius.
If Natala is already here, why did she let you grant me the title?
Actually, she could still intervene and disrupt the proceedings. But she's a Sertova. Their games are always complex and multi-layered. They're always looking for ways to turn defeat into victory. If she's decided to allow you to become a baron, it means she already has some idea of how she can turn it to her benefit. Let's consider how she could do so. Maybe she understands that Rostland will inevitably separate and she doesn't want a war. In that case, new states in the Stolen Lands give the Isians a reason to sit down and talk without losing face. But that's an optimistic view, and truth be told, it doesn't quite match up with what we've come to expect from the Sertovas. The more likely scenario is that Natala wants to win you over to her side. If war breaks out and at least one of you stabs us in the back, Rostland will be surrounded by enemies. That might be enough to bring about our downfall. But you would fall first, and your newly formed states would be left in ruin. The Isians always like to have someone around to pull their chestnuts out of the fire for them. A piece of friendly advice? Don't do business with House Sertovas, no matter what promises they make you. Any deal with the noble houses is a deal with devils.
What happens next?
How should I know? We're in the middle of a big game. And today, you move from being merely a piece on the board to being one of the players.
Thank you for the explanation.
I hope you have a better understanding of what's at stake.
Do you already know about my encounter with Tartuccio?
Of course. Keston gave me a full report. You dealt with the scoundrel perfectly. It would be naive to think that none of your neighbors will try to stick their hands in your affairs. Especially that sly fox Iravetti.
Thank you. I'm going to speak with the guests.
Enjoy your evening. When you're ready for the official part, come to me.
Okay, we've got about a dozen NPCs to talk to, so let's start working our way around the room. They called this a feast. I'd show them some real festivities if they'd let me. Pour up to the brim so that... Oh, I must be drunk. I forgot the line. Well, someone's having fun. Well, Tartuccio... Well, scum, and... how did we... maybe I've had too many. Well said, Keston. Well said. This man is obviously more comfortable on the battlefield than in the company of nobles. He's well built, but the expensive waistcoat he's wearing doesn't quite fit properly, as though it was borrowed. He has a few pale scars across his face, and his dark hair is drawn into an unkempt ponytail with a few streaks of gray running through it. He greets you with a broad smile and a firm handshake. Let me introduce myself. I'm Magar Varn, the new ruler of Dunsword, your neighbor to the east. Like you, I'm about to be a baron. Great job with the Stag Lord, by the way. Not everyone could exterminate a whole gang of bandits with such a small team. How did you earn the title of baron? Truth be told, my team and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Jamandi Aldori needed someone reliable to take and hold the territory. I'm the captain of a mercenary team, if that wasn't clear. Varnling host. Have you heard of us? No? No matter. We've done work for Jamandi before. This time, the task was simple. We just waltzed into the area, cleared it of the most brazen monsters, and built a small fort to hold the place. And for that, a barony and land to own. It was a dream job. How do you feel being a noble? Looking at his rich clothes, Varn smirks. Like a pheasant on a plate. I've killed all kinds of monsters, but this is the first time I've so strongly felt like turning away could get me eaten. He nods towards an arrogant man in the other corner of the room. See that lad? Baron Dralev. He's not like us. Who knows what generation of baron he is? Didn't even shake my hand. You and me, we're like dirt beneath his boots. That's why those like us, the newly made nobility, need to stick together. Otherwise, he'd take my land and yours in the blink of an eye. It was nice meeting you. Farewell. Goodbye. Once you've settled in, come pay us a visit. Well, he seemed pleasant enough. He's also the main character of the second DLC, which will apparently explore just how Varn got his kingdom. Their wine is all right, nice and strong, but the appetizers, barely a mouthful. These people are not just celebrating. It seems your feat has given them new hope. Ah, yes, I see good old Restov hasn't changed a bit. Even the smell in the streets is the same. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to someone else. Nedala Sertova is discussing something with an unfamiliar old lady in a low voice. Upon noticing you, she breaks into a sugary sweet smile. You are not only tough, but quick. Well, congratulations on your victory. Enjoy it, while you can. Is this a threat? I would never. I simply wish to warn you, in case you don't fully realize the fate that awaits you and your barony. What do you think awaits me? Nothing good, I fear. The Aldori, our dearest friends, didn't deem it necessary to inform you of their plans, I assume. You see, they're preparing to separate from Brevoy. It will not be a peaceful process. They lack the strength currently, hence using this legal loophole to create some independent allies. Once the civil war breaks out, your land will be the first to endure a strike from Brevoy's forces. Perhaps they'll erect a memorial stone in independent Restov to honor you. Well, I wouldn't count on even that, really. And what would you propose? In your situation, the most reasonable course of action would be to align yourself with the lawful rulers of Brevoy, the noble houses. The Aldori won't dare to rebel, knowing they would immediately become entrapped. You can help Brevoy avoid a civil war, while simultaneously enjoying some well-deserved peace in your lands. I believe Jamandi has already attempted to impose a guard on you as an emissary. I'm guessing her low-born stepson, the green-skinned boy, Cecil. It's up to you, of course, but I would recommend you a different envoy. Please meet Chandra Murvey, an experienced diplomat who's more familiar with Brevoy's politics than any brawler could be. The old woman standing next to Natala gives you a slight bow. I would be happy to help you establish diplomatic relations with Brevoy. I'll consider your proposal. Think on it. Do not make any hasty decisions. Wow, okay, so I think we found the lawful evil people in the room. I think we'll just stick with the Sword Lords. A handsome man with a weather-beaten face grasps your hand tightly in his rough, calloused palms. Unlike the rest of the guests in their festive clothes, he wears a simple robe. The only luxury you see on him is a holy symbol of Erastil, made of solid gold. The other guests look at him with respect, some bordering on awe. "Congratulations on your victory," he says in a deep voice. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am Asvanki Keeg, High Priest of Erastil in Restov." Do many people in Restov venerate Erastil? They revere many gods in Restov. They pray to Abadar, patron of cities, and Pharasma, gatherer of souls. There are also some more rare cults, but there's no denying that the Stag God has the largest congregation here. And no wonder, people here have lived off farming and hunting for centuries. You're dressed surprisingly simply for such a festive occasion. The corners of the priest's mouth turn up in a faint smile. The nobles dress in silks and satins to stand out from the poor. A priest wears a simple robe to stand out from the nobles. I like that. Bringing law into the stolen lands is a difficult endeavor. I would be grateful for any help you could spare. Our most pious aspirations are often hindered, but is it not the case that overturning such obstacles allows us to become closer to our God? I give you my blessing, and I believe you will be able to overcome these hardships and achieve your goals. Gosh, thanks. It was an honor to meet you. Goodbye. Erastil keep you. Ha-ha! To victory! To freedom! Bottoms up! Bottoms up! Yes! Try the eclairs. They're delicious. Truth be told, I'm not really comfortable here. I lost my taste for high society. This man's gorgeous clothes hide rippling muscles beneath them. He looks past your ear, obviously bored. Baron Hannes Drelev, he says offhandedly, emphasizing the word Baron. And you must be the Stag Lord Butcher. I'm sorry, I quite forgot your name. But you took out the Stag Lord and his gang, and so Sword Lord Jamandi is granting you permission to take his place, right? Well, congratulations. My lands lie to the west of yours. I suppose we're neighbors now. Yes, I defeated the Stag Lord. Pray tell, what did you do to deserve your new dominion? A smirk appears on the Baron's face. I don't need to deserve or prove anything. Countless generations of my glorious ancestors have done so for me. If I had a slightly bigger army, Sword Lord Jamandi would have simply given all of the stolen lands to me. Alas, I don't have so many soldiers at my disposal, so she had to urgently make barons of the likes of you and Varn. So you have no army and no special merits. You were just given the land for being pretty. Under other circumstances, I'd have you whipped for such words, but let's not ruin Lady Aldori's celebration, If you want so badly to measure merits, we can do so another time. You're not very polite for a nobleman. Ha! Politeness must be deserved. Wow, I hate you. I'm going to go. Not even deigning to reply, Baron Draliv turns around and looks away. Whew, okay, I've got to say, my throat's getting a bit tired here, but, I think we're on the final stretch. A feast in times of pestilence, a ludicrous attempt to sink into reverie, to digress from contemplating one's own insignificance. Well, at least Harem's making new friends. A handsome, well-dressed young man of about 17 years old looks at you with a polite smile. So, you're the famous slayer of the Stag Lord's gang, soon to be a baron. Pleased to make your acquaintance. My name is Lander. Just Lander? No last name? No title? Well, let's just say I'm here incognito. Under my circumstances, it's wise to keep one's lineage to oneself. Truth be told, that's precisely what I wanted to speak with you about. You see, I am an heir to one of Brevoy's noble houses. I won't say which, but believe me, a newly appointed baron with no connection would do well to have a friend like me. I travel the country in secret, without servants, so I can see it for myself. Not from a carriage window, but face to face with the people. My family would never approve, of course, but then, I never asked. I need to know Brevoy if I'm going to rule a part of it someday. I know Jamandi wants to impose her stepson on you as an emissary of Brevoy. Refuse. Take me instead. Don't look at my age. While they may have trained this half-orc to swing a sword, I've been training to rule since I was a child. I'll be of far greater use to you, both now and in the future, after I have a firm position in my family. Picking up some definite chaotic vibes here. Are you from Restovic nobility? Oh no, I'm not from here. I'm just visiting, you could say. I wanted to see for myself the heroes who managed to conquer the frontier lands, and the Lord Mayor was kind enough to invite me to this wonderful party. Okay, I think these options here just repeat dialogue. Yeah, okay. No point in choosing this one, then. I'll consider your proposal. Yes, do so, and carefully. Well, he certainly seems trustworthy with that, charming smile. Alright, so that's all the important guests. Let's go have a chat with our hosts. Today is a historic day for Restov, and maybe for all of Brevoy. An older man with full sideburns looks at you with interest through a golden eyeglass. Well now, if it isn't the hero of the festivities, the protege of our dear Jamandi. You pulled this all off quite cleverly. I confess, I wasn't convinced your enterprise would succeed. I even bet a bottle of my best Pataxian wine against you. But I'm happy to admit I was wrong. The Aldori have always been adept at finding new talent. I don't believe we've been introduced. So it would seem. I am Yosef Salemius, Lord Mayor of Restov. I rule this town and the adjacent lands. As your northern neighbor, I hope we can look forward to a long and fruitful friendship. So, you rule Restov. And what about the Aldori? Brevoy's politics seem complex and incomprehensible to many. Here, in this part of Rostland, the spirit of northern freedom still lives. We are loyal to the throne, of course. May the gods prolong the life of His Highness. But here, far from the dominions of the great houses, we have our own way of life. It is especially important now, after the certain events that I probably don't need to name. The Aldori Sword Lords used to rule Rostland. They're still the largest landowners and the main military force in the region. But it's not for nothing that Restov is called a free city. We're proud to choose the Lord Mayor from among the citizens, considered not by their lineage, but by their own merits. What kind of events were you talking about? Mayor Salemius gives you a patronizing smile. Why, an aspiring politician needs to be well informed. I'm talking, of course, about the disappearance of the ruling House Rogarvia. Can you imagine it? Old Man Coral conquered our land 2 centuries ago. It would be a shameless lie to say that nobody wished his royal house could just disappear into thin air, but once that exact thing happened, turned out nobody was ready for it. Poof, all over the country, every member of the royal house disappeared without a trace. Nobody knows what happened. It is a mystery, but a mystery pregnant with opportunity for everyone. Intriguing. I wonder if that will come up in this campaign. How are things at Rostov? I don't want to boast, but things have been going well in recent years. Trade prospers, the population grows, and the citizens are happy. Although, recently, especially after the disappearance of House Rogarvia, more and more troublemakers have been appearing, and people are talking about the most shocking things. But those sorts of rumors aren't worthy of your attention. It was nice meeting you. Goodbye. Please, wait a moment. Your young barony will need resources to establish itself, and from what I've been told, you're somewhat in need of financial assistance. I could organize and supply everything you need for the construction, and spread out the cost on extremely favorable terms. Gosh, that doesn't sound at all shady. Please, tell me more. I could immediately procure, let's say, 500 cartloads of building supplies. I'm sure that would give you a good start. In exchange, I would ask a small favor. Until you repay the debt in full, you simply assume the obligation of contracting building services through Restov's Builders Guild. Do we have a deal? Okay, I'm not comfortable with these terms. Thank you for the offer, but I can't accept it. It's your choice, of course. I just figured I'd mention it. Thank you, Lord Mayor. It's been a pleasure. The feeling is mutual, I assure you. I look forward to hearing more of your dazzling successes soon. Alright, I believe that's everyone, so let's have a chat with Jamandi.
So, how do you like our little gathering? I hope you've made some useful connections. Shall we move on to the official proceedings?
Yes, let's begin.
Excellent. Stand here. Lords and ladies, today we are here to honor 3 brave people who have done the impossible. They've tamed the stolen lands. Baron Hannes Drelev, the new master of Glenabon, Captain Maegor Varn, the conqueror of Dunsword, and finally, the tamer of the Shrike Hills, who put an end to the atrocities of the Stag Lord's bandits. Step forward. On behalf of the people of the free city of Rostov, I confer upon you this noble title. Rise, your grace.
Whew, okay. I think that brings us to a pretty good stopping point for the episode. This was a long one, but I was dead set on making sure we could get into Act 2 by episode 18. Anyway, we'll hit the pause button for now, and we'll pick up here next time, as we finally get to explore our proper kingdom. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube channel, the fan-run wiki, or the original crowdfunding campaign over on Kickstarter. As always, Links are in the description.